Greetings, everyone. This is Mike Riley, the voice of Ironman. And this is the Old School Tri Show with my Kiwi mates Cameron Harper and Brian Ashby. The show that talks about all things triathlon, old and new. We're powered by Ansco Foods, bringing you nutrition and good health from New Zealand's beef and lamb. Thanks for listening, everyone. Enjoy the show.
Hello and welcome along to another edition of the Old School Tri Show, brought to you by our great friends at Ansco Foods. And today, Brian, look, the list of outstanding athletes who have graced the shores of New Zealand, they grow and grow, and today's guest is no exception.
This guy raced 6 times in New Zealand, 2 wins in Auckland, and he went to Taupo as well, and he did his best to put Cameron Brown to the sword as he raced to his first victory in Ironman New Zealand. Today, we're chatting with German Stefan Holzner.
Ansco Foods is proud to be the new naming partner of Ironman New Zealand, ensuring every stroke, pedal and stride is powered by the best nature has to offer. Ansco Foods is on a mission to bring nutrition and good health from New Zealand's finest beef and lamb. Ansco Foods, putting the iron in Ironman with New Zealand's finest beef and lamb. Visit anscofoods.com/Ironman to find out more.
Well, it's an absolute pleasure to have us joining us all the way from Germany today. Stefan Holzner. Stefan, thank you ever so much for your time. And it's funny looking back at the history of your relationship with New Zealand. It was a long relationship with 3 places, Auckland, Taupo, but also Christchurch. You invested an awful lot of time in your career based in New Zealand.
Yes, I had the big pleasure to get to Christchurch because a friend of mine was already there training, Pauli Kiro and Benny Lindberg. They were training in the mid-80s in Christchurch, and they invited me to join the training with him. And so I was really, really impressed of the landscape and the warm welcome of all the people, because sports is in New Zealand very highly recommended and highly seen. It's not in Germany, it's all about football, and in New Zealand it's more about the sports like swimming, running, cycling, what I did.
Yeah. Well, let's wind the clock back a little bit further before you came to New Zealand. And I think your first triathlon was back in 1989. So growing up, what were your sporting interests? What sort of got you into triathlon initially?
I was former tennis player, and I was quite good, but not good enough to build really on the top. So I tried to push my tennis career, getting running, getting swimming, getting cycling, just to get fitter into the tennis, but it didn't work. But I joined a few running events, and I saw I'm quite a good runner. So I pushed more the running and I pushed more the cycling, and for fun, I did a very small triathlon, which is held in our place, Lake Tumsey. Our hotel is on Lake Tumsey. So I watched the race, and I gave them a try, and I did quite good. But swimming was breaststroke swimming, and we rode on the bike without helmet, just with the swimming pants. So it was more fun, but it was really fun for me. And I get in love with triathlon because you all can do by yourself alone. In tennis, you had always to find a better partner. And that was the biggest problem for me.
About how old were you then, Stefan? How old were you when you decided that tennis wasn't for you and you go to these other sports and triathlon?
I was about 16, 17 years old.
That's a perfect time to launch.
Age.
Yeah,
It's the perfect time to launch a tennis career. That was when Boris Becker won Wimbledon, wasn't it? You already had a really good German player.
Yeah.
And it's quite funny you're just saying that first triathlon. It's really relatable for people listening to the Old School Tri Show on this podcast. Breaststroke, everyone can relate to that. It's kind of nice that hearing a professional kind of started out that way as well with his first race.
I guess I was around nearly 20 years when I joined the swimming club in Bad Reichenhall, and I get a very old swimming trainer, and he told me I have to do freestyle swimming, and it was really lucky. I got such a good trainer, and he told me a lot. And I was then swimming 5 times a week, and it was for me very hard, because every swimming was for me very demanding, and I was not used to it. So it took quite a long time to get into a good swimming position.
So how long did it take, Stefan, before you decided that you would be a professional triathlete? How long were you swimming and biking and running and doing a few small tries before you decided to become professional?
I started 89 with small triathlons, and 91, 92, I met Benny Lindberg in Canary Islands in Lanzarote, and we were training together, and he told me I should go on an Ironman distance, because real men are Ironman on not short distance races. So that was the first time I was thinking about that. And he said he is going 94 again to New Zealand, and I should join him together with Pauli Kure going into the training. And if I think I'm fit enough, I should join the Ironman. And that was the beginning. And the first Ironman was actually my easiest one, because I didn't know what is happened to me. So every Ironman was behind my first time in New Zealand was getting harder and harder for me.
But you were but here's the funny thing. You're sort of saying that you kind of I kind of got serious. I met Benny in Lanzarote. If you're training in Lanzarote, man, you're obviously really on top of your game. You're a pretty good triathlete at that point, if you've made the commitment to train somewhere like that, and the gale force winds and all the stuff that's going on there.
I was much faster than Benny and Pauli, because I was used to be a tennis player, and I was reacting very fast, and my running was very fast for a short distance. My problem was going over hundreds of miles. So, but I guess it was easier for me to get longer than faster. And Benny and Pauli, they didn't went any faster. They get even longer. Yeah. So yeah, it was just a matter of time. When I stay into the training, I will get better and better.
And the base you get from tennis players, there's a lot of endurance in tennis when you're playing tournaments. You're playing 3 sets, championships. You're playing 5 sets. I mean, there's a lot of endurance, which I guess would have been helpful for you as you went to triathlon.
Yeah, it was. And I did, I was like going on the mountains, I was climbing, I was cross-country skiing, I was skiing. I did a lot of other sports. I was motorcycling, motocross cycling. So it was all, when you live in a location like me, you have everything to do.
Brilliant. Yeah.
And that was helping me a lot. Staying healthy all the time. I didn't have any problems with my healthy. So even now I'm still running. I'm still a little bit of cycling, and have no pain at all. So it's just the gray hair and the eyes.
So we had the pleasure of chatting with Polly on the Old School Tri Show some months ago, and it was fantastic. So those guys convinced you to come out to New Zealand, not necessarily to do Ironman, but to train with them. Was that sort of how it worked?
Yeah.
And
they were, because I was a nobody, and they told me everything they knew. That was for me, it was just luck, because normally we are fighting against, because we do the same sport. But Pauli and Benny, they told me everything what they learned a lot of years. So for me, it was just luck to join them.
There were a lot of big name triathletes would come to Christchurch at that time. Some of them are still living here in the form of Scott Molina, Aaron Baker, and so on.
Yeah.
Who did you meet a network of people from Ironman in your time based in Christchurch?
No. I was training with them. I met Scott Molina and Aaron Baker. I also met Dave Scott. He was also training in Christchurch. But after my triathlon career, it's completely gone. I have one friend or 2 friends with WhatsApp, but that's it. And sometimes I didn't even know there are still races at the time. Even the race in Germany, which I won twice, I missed it.
Yeah. Yeah. God.
And how did you know that you were, I mean, training with people like Benny and Polly, I mean, they are good athletes. And at what point did you go, I can keep up with these people? I'm actually quite good at this.
I, mm, I was sure I can do as good as they did, because in training they had no chance to break away from me. So the mental thing was more my problem, because they were mentally very strong. When we rode together on the bike and you had to stop for a pee, they didn't stop. So you had to overtake them. Did you pee? And then you can join them again. And that was, for me, it was crazy. It was crazy. So that got me a lot mental preparation for everything. And I'm still, if I go for a run, I check my clock, and it's still, I have to run exactly 1 hour. That's because of Pauli, because he was always checking heart rate and time. And he never stopped training 1 minute less than he had to do.
Yeah, so really disciplined. Yeah. So you came to Christchurch. You enter 1994 Ironman New Zealand in Auckland. How confident were you about how that was going to play out? How well prepared did you feel going into that race?
We were training for, I guess, 5 weeks in Christchurch, and I was, the main thing was I was healthy. I didn't get sick at all the time, so I was sure I can do the distance. But on the other hand, I didn't know how it will work, all 3 disciplines together for 8.5 or 9 hours. But I was really relaxed, because I didn't know at all how it will be on race day. I didn't know my stomach will get a problem, or my back is hurting, or my legs are sore. So it was just a big event with a lot of people, and I just tried at best I could. And it was really, really good around kilometers 30 on the run. And then I started to feel really, really slowing down. Benny was overtaking me, and it was the only time I cried in the finish line, because I was so smashed and so fatigued, and I thought, oh, never ever again I will do such a crazy thing. But on the next day, I was so proud I did it, and I guess I was 5th. And I saw the pictures because a friend of mine made a few photos, and I was sure I will try again, and I will try better. And but it was like in every sport. It was, sometimes I had good races, sometimes I failed. So it's my whole life, and it's still now in the hotel. What I'm running with my wife together. It's some days it will work everything, and next day you're struggling.
Yeah.
But it teaches you a lot of, I was going to say, it teaches you a lot of resilience, though. Racing Ironman or racing any sort of sport, you do learn resilience, which is a real positive. And especially as you go through and owning a business and running your hotel like you are, you'd learn a lot of lessons from Ironman racing, don't you?
Yeah, I did. Just keep on going, and the finish line will come. But I also had really bad fails. I was in Ironman South Africa. I was leading by 10 minutes, and I just couldn't run anymore. So sometimes you just have to quit a race or stop a race and settle down. So I was a good Ironman, but I never had the attitude to be crawling or getting to the finish line, whatever it costs. So that's what Benny Lindbergh, for example, he was training like mad, and he never ever did quit a race because that was not Finnish style. So that was maybe a weakness for me. If I felt now it's not working anymore, I stopped, and I stopped 5 Ironman races. So I did altogether 31 races. I finished 12 times in the top 3, and 5 Ironman races I didn't finish. So and I was mentally very down after that. But the main thing is coming back again, and that's like in the work. It's the same. You have to just keep on going, and it will come better times, hopefully.
I think the nature of the beast of 31 races and that finishing percentage that's something to be proud of for all of that. So that 94, it's really funny, the 1994 race, because it's remembered fondly in New Zealand. Scott Balance, of course, won. He's from here in Christchurch, and he was the first Kiwi male to finally win at Ironman New Zealand. So that was a good dress rehearsal for you. You come back 12 months later, and it's you're suddenly a little bit mentally stronger. You've got a better understanding of it. What are your recollections of that maiden win in 1995? What can you remember about that day?
That was the first time I was alone in New Zealand with my wife together. Pauli and Benny didn't join me, so I had to train by myself. And I was very keen to do a good race because I was wearing number 5 on the race, and that made me really proud because 800 people in the race and you have number 5, you have to fight for the number, and that's what I did. And I was I had a perfect day, and for me it was like a dream is coming through, being first on the podium. And yeah, the after crossing the finish line, it was really the best feeling which I ever had, and I never had then again. So it was the first win, is always very special, and we had such a great time in New Zealand with my wife, and it was fantastic. It was really a dream.
You had a bit of adversity to overcome that day, didn't you? You were battling with Ken Glar, I think, out of the water with him. And then did you have a broken spoke or something on your bike? Yeah.
Yes, I had a broken spoke, and it was a carbon rim with a spoke. And I heard the whole time, I heard the spoke like spinning around, and I was so scared. I'm not going to finish the bike section, but it was okay. And I broke away from Ken Glar, and I just stayed on the front, and I hoped I will. Every time when he passed me, he looked much faster than I, and I was sure he's catching me up, but it was not. It was okay for me.
And I was just going to say, what was your memories of the bike course? A lot of people we've talked to, and I've cycled that bike course many times. It was a lot of hills. You go out the back of nowhere to turn around. It was it was quite a challenging bike course in some ways.
To be honest, for me is the Auckland Ironman most spectacular run, because the swim was rough. It was the bike section going out to Matingarahi, is it right? Matingarahi and Kawakawa Bay.
Yep, close enough.
It's really demanding. The road, the surface of the road is very rough and a lot of hills. So it was really what I was. If I talk about Ironman, that's Ironman Auckland, because the waterfront is for me spectacular. We don't have any water in our front, so it was really very special. The big city and the landscape. So I loved really Auckland. It was for me just the best place to win.
And in those days, Stefan, obviously we're riding on steel or aluminium bikes, and you haven't got the big wide thick tires like the road bikes do now. It's a little 21C or the 23C. I mean, it was, when you say it was rough, it was rough.
Yeah.
It was tough. Yeah.
I laugh at what you were saying with regards to Ken Glar. Was he? I mean, you raced against him a few times. Was he really good at playing the mind games? Do you think was that a real strength of his?
He was always very friendly to me, together with his girl or wife,
Yeah.
Jen Wenklin.
Yeah.
So they was always friendly, and he was for me like a idol. Is his idol a big name? Just a really big name. And on the bike course, I just stayed behind him. And after that, I felt a little bit sorry because I was just following him because I knew he's doing all right. He must be very sure what he's doing. So, and I was able to follow him. And on the last 40, 50 kilometers, I just broke away from him. And I felt a little bit sorry for him because I did the whole work and showed me how to race, and I just passed him. That was the only thing I felt a little bit sorry, but just 5 minutes maybe.
No, you didn't. You went on away. You didn't feel sorry at all because you went out and then smacked out. I think you were the only guy that did a sub-3 marathon. Certainly.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And it was an amazing course. Like to finish that bike, I'm just looking at your bike splits here, Stefan. There, and you went 4:52 on that bike, and it was a rough swim. Because I wondered if it was rough because the swim times were a little slower than normal, so it was obviously a rough day. But you had a good bike, and then, like Brian's saying, under 3 hours, because that was quite a. They had the waterfront part, but there were some hills in the run as well, so that's a very good time.
Yeah, it was a good time, but if you compare to the times what they are what they are doing now, it's 1 hour slower than the girls are doing.
But they got carbon bikes and carbon shoes now, Stefan.
Yeah. Different. It's a different world. Can you describe your feeling of the finishing shoot or the last kilometre or two as you're coming home and the realisation is sinking in that you're going to win Ironman New Zealand, you're going to win your first Ironman? Can you tell us about the emotions and what was going through your head?
If I would have a time machine, I would always going past to that point. On kilometer 41 on the run session, and just to rejoin these feelings. It's very sorry that it's just a short time in your life which you have such a great pleasure. I've got the videotape from the races, and in our hotel there is a TV screen in our gym, and you can watch my best, just the best races you can watch. And I look if somebody is in our gym, and if nobody is in our gym, I watch my race again. And
brilliant.
Yeah, it looks great. It looks really good.
That is so cool. That's awesome. That's awesome. So you had to come back. You're defending champion. You have to come back the next year. You and your wife, how far in advance did you ahead of the race, did you come out? How much time did you spend in New Zealand for the 1996 race?
It was always the same. I started to going to Auckland or Christchurch on 3rd or 4th of January. So mostly 6 weeks prior to the race. We have a lot of work in our hotel on Christmas Eve and New Year's Day. So I tried to help as much as I could in our hotel. And on 4th or 5th of January, high season was stopping, and I was able to fly to New Zealand.
Yeah. And the race in 1996, there was quite a bit of drama ahead of that. I think with the weather, there was a suggestion that the swim might be cancelled. So I know the day itself dawned fine, but it must have been a little bit unsettling in the sort of 24, 48 hours before that race, not quite knowing how it was going to play out.
Yeah. I was hoping they will cancel the swim. I was very hoping, because I didn't like to swim at all. So I was praying, just keep on going. And on the next day, it was really calm. And I was 4 a.m. in the morning, I was checking out and the waterfront, and it was calm. And I was sure, okay, you have to swim.
But Stefan, it's amazing when you say that, though. But you're a good swimmer. Like you swam really well.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I hated the start. The start was always very demanding. If 700, 800 people running into the water, that made me a little bit afraid every time. So the swimming itself, it was okay as soon I was in the water, but the start is what I was always angry about getting involved in fighting, or the zipper is going out on of my wetsuit. So yeah, losing the goggles. The New Zealand can swim without goggles in the salt water, but not the Bavarians. They are too weak.
I don't know too many Kiwis that can
No,
do it
none
either,
New Zealanders.
Stefan.
If a New Zealander tells you that, Stefan, they're lying.
Yeah.
But you know that day though, did you feel any expectation coming back to defend your title?
I was recognizing everybody is watching now me. I was now the man to fighting down, and it made me very proud. It just made me proud to be back again. And 96, when I came to Christchurch to train there, I got really sick and I had stomach problems, and I was 1 week I was completely down, laying in the bed, and I was going to John Hellemans in Christchurch, and he said, maybe you got just a flu or whatever, you need some time. And I was laying in the bed for at least 7 days in Christchurch, and the time was getting close to the race, and I was not sure if I'm getting in shape for winning again. But it worked out, and it was just a 4 weeks preparation, and I had just a perfect day. It was luck. It was just maybe a little bit of luck to get in shape just in time.
Yeah, it would have been nice to have a sympathetic ear, someone like John Hellemann's doctor, but of course, legendary triathlon coach. So a really good guy for you to tap into.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He helped me a lot, and he said, you at first you have to get out of the sickness, and then you have to see what. And I was still thinking, okay, maybe I just cancel the race. I didn't want to do a bad race or staying in the middle of the pack. If I go on the start line, I will be competitive, and yeah. But after 2 weeks of training, it went up very, very soon and very fast, and I just gave them a try. Yeah.
Just going back to the swim, Stefan, because in those days everybody started at the same time. The professionals didn't get a gap.
Yeah.
Everyone just started the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because these days
that's Ironman, and that's maybe when I looking back, it's when I started with triathlon. I guess it was just 6 Ironman races in a year, and that was much more worth being on top in one of the 6 Ironman races. Now I don't know how many races we got in a year, but I think every week you can do at least 1 Ironman race. So it's changed a lot. So
because
for me, it was the perfect time to be good, because the sport was very compact and very not so commercial like it is now.
it's amazing.
With going into that swim in 96, did you look I mean, there's guys like Rick Wells, who, massive reputation in the sport and wonderful swimmer. Craig Watson was much younger. Did you sort of look for those sort of feet? Were you looking at those guys and, right, these are the guys I need to be with? Or how did you sort of go into that swim? How did you approach it?
I didn't recognize the people during the event, because just if they wear colored caps, but otherwise I was so nervous, so I didn't recognize everything. Mostly I couldn't sleep the last 1 or 2 days prior to the race. I was completely nervous, and it was so challenging for me that now I'm still having bad dreams about Ironman races. I'm still very happy that I'm out of the sport because it took so many from my mind, and I'm just happy I'm not having to do it again. Because I guess if I would race for 1 or 2 years longer, I got a burnout. Now it's called burnout. Now it's for me. It was like a mental breakdown, and like I said, I still dream getting too late into the race, getting a puncture, getting stomach problems. So it gave me a lot, but it took also a lot out of my body, and I'm just very happy. I did what I did, but I never ever would do it again.
So much stress. So much
Yeah,
stress.
it was really.
Yeah.
If you're going to win one race, you always try to get another win, and you are not satisfied anymore with a 5th place or a 10th place. At least you will be the best German. That's the main thing. So, and that's actually the wrong direction. If I now going to watch a race and see the people coming on 100th position, I say, wow, you are much stronger than I am right now, and I'm just happy. Everything was I did, it was without any medical help, without any drugs or doping, etc. It was just a fair play what I did, and that's the main thing. And I so happy. I got 2 young sons, and I can tell them what you are doing. Do it fair, and to play hard and play fair, and that's the main thing.
That's great
Race with
advice.
integrity. That's brilliant. That's brilliant.
What advice, if you could talk to yourself 30 years ago, if you could give yourself advice as you went into a Ironman New Zealand in 1995 or 1996, what would you say to the young Stefan Holzner?
Just try as best as you can, and if it not works, it doesn't work, and don't care about too much about it. So it's not, the sports is not everything.
Yeah,
it was for me a big part of my life, but it's not everything. And you are talking to me right now, but I guess 20 years nobody took any interest of myself. So it's just a very short time in your life. What do you think? You are very important, but it isn't so.
Well, it is to us, and it is to the history of Ironman New Zealand. So if you learn nothing from a chat with us, you're super important to the community here in New Zealand. It really matters to us. So, tuck that one away. And I just wonder, going back to that race in 96, you had a number of, I mentioned a couple of Kiwi names there, Craig Watson and Rick Wells. Stephen Farrell was on the rise there. Your old sparring partner, Ken Glar, out there again, beating each other up there. As the day sort of unfolded, how did it sort of, what are your recollections of it as you built into the race further after the swim?
I knew my best part is the cycling part, and the game plan was to be on top on the cycling and just stay in the running as long as I could, and that worked out. That worked just out because the course is done for my bike performance. It's hilly, it's rough, it's windy, and that is exactly what I like to do.
One of the things that stands out, sort of, as researching for this chat, is the Germans. There are so many very, very good Uber cyclists out of Germany around that era in which you were competing. But you're a very good cyclist yourself, but you had a more all-round, a more balanced you're a more balanced triathlete than a lot of your contemporaries. Would that be a fair observation?
I guess in the 90s it was okay if you had one discipline which you are not on the top. For me, I was never ever a good swimmer. I was never ever a very good runner, but my base was very, very okay, and that helped me out to be competitive at all. But cycling was normally my best part, and even if I didn't have the best bike times, it cost me not too much energy going 180 kilometers on the cycle. So I was still I could follow nearly everything. Even when I tried with Thomas Hellriegel, he didn't break away. I did a lot of training with him in the Canary Islands, and cycling was just what I loved.
Well, not a bad guy to train with. Heavens above,
Yeah.
hell on wheels. Yeah.
What?
He's still very much on the cycle. He's living in Canary Islands. He's got a small house there, and we are chatting a few times in the month. That's one of the guys I'm still in contact with there.
Oh, that's
Brilliant.
wonderful.
Brilliant.
What sort of training, Stefan? If you look now, everyone's got a lot of technology. You know, there's a lot of technology that is used in racing today. What was it like for your training in those days? Were you using heart rate monitors, or were you just using your stopwatch, or did you just sort of train how you felt and raced how you felt at the time?
I guess I was the first people in Germany who was wearing a Polar heart rate monitor, because I was training together with Pauli Kuro, and he was the heart rate kid. So he told me everything about heart rate, and but that was the only thing. A normal cycling computer showing the distance and the speed. And in the end of the 90s, I was also wearing a power rate monitor on a cycle, so you can measure the wattage.
That would have been an early one, would it? An early power meter. There wouldn't have been too many around in those days.
Yeah, I guess it was later. I guess it was in the beginning of 2000, which is a little bit later. But yeah.
And your watts were high, big watts.
300 watts during the average during the Ironman race.
Wow.
And I had around 72 kilograms.
Wow, that's very impressive.
I guess it's still good, but not good enough.
Very good.
It's still very good.
I think the people racing in the World Championships would be very happy to be producing that power.
Yeah. Stefan, in that 96 race, when you went back to back with your second title, did you have the same feeling of euphoria in that second race?
Yeah. It was still the same. It's even better. Pauli Kuro gave me an email, and he was the first one. He gave me a congratulation, and he was also telling me it's much harder to win back to back. It's mentally much harder, and it was just it's like a dream. It's so fantastic. And in the morning, I couldn't sleep beforehand the race, and I also couldn't sleep after the race, because it was you try to stay in this moment as long as it gets. And we didn't get to bed. We had been on the supermarket very early in the morning to check out the newspaper, and then you see the picture of you, and this. You think that cannot be true.
You obviously had big profile and a lot of TV coverage in New Zealand. What was it like back in Germany?
Not so much. It was I had a TV show in a big TV channel in Germany, because it was not football season. Football is coming later. And skiing season was already gone. So I had a big channel after the second win, and it was okay. But but the triathlon was more known as biathlon. Biathlon is shooting and cross-country skiing.
Yeah.
That was in our area much more known as triathlon. Sometimes they ask me if I have to shoot, and I said no, not yet.
Certainly put a different dynamic on the race. Yeah. So you've coming back, winning two. You came pretty close to winning 3 times in a row in New Zealand, and the '97 race that was a blistering pace in that day, and second place. What are your recollections of that day?
After winning the second time in New Zealand, I said to Martha, "I will marry you if you won't marry me," and we will do that in '97 in New Zealand. And we did 2 days after the race, and the race was very good. It was just perfect. Lothar Leder was at this time just unbeatable. And 3 times winning in a row is maybe too much. And I'm so happy I won twice, and I'm so happy to get second is still very, very good. And marry my wife was the best thing what I did, and we are still together, and so everything was perfectly and
brilliant. Whereabouts did you get married?
Yeah.
Whereabouts in New Zealand did you get married?
On the small island.
Just out of Auckland.
Yeah.
Why was it Waiheke? Waiheke?
No. Just across the harbor. If you go over the harbor bridge, there is a small.
On the left.
Yeah.
Yeah, just I can't remember what it's called. Yeah, I know exactly where that is. There's a wedding function venue there.
Oh, I know. I can. Yeah.
But it was also on the TV, because I still have the videotape from our marriage.
Yeah.
My wife is coming 10 minutes too late, and I was waiting, and yeah. And I had to do my speech in English, which was very difficult for me. I didn't know what they was talking to me, and I just said, yes, I will. And that's, it was okay.
Well, so long as the license was signed, you obviously got everything right. So, yeah. You came back here and you had another go the next year in 1998, and I think really terrible conditions that year. I think you got the worst of the weather, and again you're in the top 5. So it must have been really feeling like a second home to you by that stage.
Yeah, and we were thinking about living in New Zealand or staying there for a long time. I don't know. That was for me. All the memories about my triathlon career will stay in New Zealand, because that was the beginning, and everything with what was for me wonderful was in New Zealand. So living there would be just perfect. But on the other hand, my parents built up a very big hotel here. They did a lot of work building them up, and they gave me a lot of time and a lot of money to do my sports, which I loved. So I knew I have to give everything back. And every money which I earned from my sports, I gave back to our hotel. And it looks good. It's not a 5-star hotel, but it's for everyone, and it's still running very good. So yeah, it would have been not fair to stay in New Zealand and doing something with sports, and it has to be for both parties fair. And I get so many times from my parents, they worked so hard for the hotel, so yeah, I have to do it now.
You're a very loyal family man. That's brilliant, Stefan. That's brilliant. It's interesting. While you were doing all these things in New Zealand, you're also sort of collecting podiums in Austria, Canada, Lanzarote, and so on. What about Kona? What about the world champs? Just tell us about your experiences with the world champs.
It didn't work out. I tried 4 times and I failed completely 3 times. And on the 4th time, I got 20 position on the 20 position. I didn't feel very welcome in Kona. I don't know why, but the feelings, it never matched to me.
Mm.
It was hot, it was humid, and end of season in Germany. It was more very commercial. It was everything. Everybody showed he's an Ironman, and it was not my place.
Yeah.
I love to race in Canada. I love to race in Europe. But Kona, it was never ever be my loved place at all. Maybe for holidays, but not for triathlon. It was very hard to get there. It was your bike every time it get completely checked on the airport. It was I didn't feel very welcome there, and they didn't care about my races in New Zealand or in Europe. You get number 967, and that was important for me to. I didn't want to get any flowers at all, but a little bit of honor of my races would be helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I didn't get the feeling they take care about this, what I did.
Yeah, it's some it's some recognition of what you've achieved.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Maybe it was not enough.
It's interesting. I sort of reading that you were almost sort of winding down your career, and then suddenly you weren't.
Yeah.
Suddenly you're back in New Zealand a few years later, and not only back in New Zealand, but you've got a whole lot of other really good things happening towards the tail end of your career. So just take us through that time period.
I didn't understand your question. Please.
Oh, you'd almost sort of after '98, you sort of went through. I think a wee bit of a quieter time in terms of your racing, and you were maybe more focused on the hotel.
Yeah.
But then suddenly you came back. You came back to New Zealand. You had success Ironman Germany, and so on. Mentally, were you sort of at a point where you were thinking about retirement, but suddenly you weren't, and you got back into racing?
Yeah, it was in Germany. We got a big automobile concern, Opel. I don't know if you know Opel, Vauxhall, and they built up a Ironman team. And I was still 35 years old, and I was thinking about retiring and having enough from the sports. And suddenly I got into the team. And a few big names didn't get into the teams. For example, Jürgen Zeck. Jürgen Zeck didn't get into the team, and he was a little bit upset because he was thinking he's better than I, and he should stay in the team and not myself. So, and that gave me for the last 3-4 years a real booster to get up in shape again, and it paid off. My best races, what I did was 23 and 2003, 2004 in Germany, and 2005 I stopped racing then, or 2006.
In Germany, that German race when you won Ironman Germany, I heavens above, I think you beat Cam Brown, Thomas Hallriegel, Peter Reid was right at the top of his game, and you beat those guys. They were all absolute rock stars. There's 2 world champions and a 4-time podium finisher at Kona. So that's a pretty special win for you.
Yeah, for me it was always very important to be welcomed in a place, and that's what I missed in Kona. And in Ironman Frankfurt, I was very warm welcomed, and I felt okay. I was keen to race there, and that made me strong. if a little thing goes wrong during race week beforehand the race, for me it was a catastrophe. So very small things are not working, you get a bad race. And in New Zealand, everything was top. It was just perfect. And also in Frankfurt, it was just perfect for me. I felt good. I was healthy. And the people around me, they gave me the feeling they are happy that I'm racing here. And that's all. That's 99% what you need.
Yeah.
Was it important to you to win Ironman Germany, being your home country?
Yeah, because I was sponsored by Opel, and Opel is in Frankfurt, so it was for me itself a very I didn't thought I can win against Cameron Brown and Peter Reed and Jürgen Zeck, Thomas Hellriegel. It was amazing. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very impressive.
Yeah.
And Cameron he's really a nice guy. When he gave me his hands in after the finish line, I got always the feeling he's happy with me. And I've followed him after my career a little bit, and he is like what is equivalent staying for. He's just a sportsman. He is loyal. He's fair playing.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
He is the absolute.
Not a showman. He's not a showman.
No.
He is just a normal guy, and that's what I love.
The beautiful thing with Cameron, and Brian and I are lucky enough to know Cameron very well. You know, he could be just on the street and somebody wants to talk to him about triathlon, and he will stand there and talk to them about what they can do. He works with young people, he works with older people, he does some coaching. You see him down at the local pool swimming, or he's out riding his bike somewhere. He's always keen to stop for a chat, give some advice. Just the most lovely, humble family guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say hello to him.
We absolutely will. And before we let you go, it sort of segues nicely into, we'll go back to a race. In 2001, you returned to Ironman New Zealand after a wee bit of a break. And of course, the venue is different. It's Taupo, so you get the opportunity to race there. But it was also very special for Cameron Brown, who'd been battling away. That was his first win, of course. He'd finished runner-up behind Thomas the year before and Tim de Boom the year before that. But there you were scrapping it out with yourself and Peter Sandvang, making life really difficult for Cameron Brown on the way to his first win. What are your recollections of that day?
We traveled together with my elder son, David. He was traveling with us, and it was difficult traveling with a very small kid and being on Lake Taupo. But it was still a very successful race, and I guess I was third, and the fourth was just 20 seconds behind me.
Yeah.
It was very close, and third is perfect, and fourth wouldn't be so perfect. So I was just happy, and I knew after that it will be the next years. It will be more difficult to get to New Zealand because of my kids.
Yes.
So it was for me very clear that it's the last appearance in New Zealand for a long time, because traveling with the kids, which is 2 years, 3 years, I saw it by Ken Clark. It is very difficult if you're preparing on a race having a kid. So it was for me the last time being in New Zealand. I had a perfect. I don't know the English word. I got fifth, first, second, and third.
And a third, yeah, great, yeah. That's a really good record.
That's really good.
It's a brilliant record. Yeah. You mentioned before that you called time on your career in 2005. What are your sporting interests post-career? What are your interests these days in terms of sport? What do? You still look like a very fit man.
Yeah.
I'm having a friend. He's a runner. He's a runner, trail runner, and he asked me if I want to join him crossing the Alps. There's a race in Germany. You run for 7 days in a row, every day nearly a marathon, and climbing up 3,500 meters altitude. And I liked this kind of events. It was more familiar. It was not so competitive, and you're going around the Alps and over the Alps and being a team. It was a team event, and that's what I did last years until 2018. And I stopped competing in races 2018 as soon as women are passing me on the run, and another woman is coming and passing me, and I have no chance to follow them. And yeah, I'm a sportsman, and I'm having very if I do something, I will do it at its best.
Yeah.
And if I see I'm not competitive anymore, I'm still training and I love the sport, but I don't want to compete and be in the middle of the pack. I don't know why, but it's maybe the wrong. I saw Scott Tinley racing in New Zealand, and they were telling him, "You're maybe the first woman," and that's in my memory. I'm not even the first woman. I'm the first diverse, or I don't know. I'm in the middle of the pack. I'm a normal sportsman now, and that's good. But I'm not seeing any reason to go into a race.
Yeah.
I'm now on the motorcycle. I'm doing motorcycle races for fun. That's my new sport, and I'm fit enough to go on this motorcycle, but I'm not fit enough to go on the Ironman or on any
And
other races.
you mentioned your sons as well. Did they know much? I mean, do you make them watch the videos in the gym of you when you were winning? Like, how do they? What are their thoughts about Dad being an Ironman champion? What do they think?
My younger son is racing a half marathon in 2 days. Together with his girlfriend, he's doing 2 hours. So they just run, and he's doing a little bit of boxing. So they are more in the fighting sports. But they're both sportsmen, and but not interested in triathlon.
But they must think their dad's pretty cool, though.
He's old. He's old. He's an old man, and he got gray hairs. He's not seeing enough.
all three of us.
We're parents. We get it.
All three of us have children about the same age, and they get to a stage they go, you know what, Dad's not that cool anymore.
Yeah. But they are both working in our hotel. They did an education being in a hotel, and so that's perfect for us. They are now in the hotel working with us, and we seeing us every day, 24 hours nearly. So at the moment, everything what I did is just perfect. It's just perfect, and I have a wonderful wife. I have 2 healthy kids, and I'm healthy by myself. So I have enough money to get food and buy whatever I want, nearly. So it's just perfect. It's really just perfect, and I hope it will stay so for the next time. And yeah, at the moment we have not really much time to go on holidays, because the hotel is you have to be there every day, and that's now my problem is finding times, getting with my family out for a day off. That's nearly not possible at the moment, because you are just in your business. But that's okay.
One final thing that we will get you to do before we end this chat: tell everyone listening to the Old School, here's a chance for you to do an advertisement. Tell everyone on the Old School Tri Show a little bit the name of your hotel, a little bit about it, where it is, the things that are around your hotel, and a website so that people can get hold of you at your hotel and perhaps make a booking.
Yeah. So my name is Stefan Holzner. I'm born in Bad Reichenhall, and our hotel is located in Bad Reichenhall on Lake Tumsee. It's called Hotel Seeblick am Tumsee, and the webpage is www.hotel-seeblick.de, which is very difficult for you, I guess. But
They'll be able to find it. They'll do a search.
Yeah, they'll find
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And don't forget to drive on the right-hand side. That was actually the on the bike course. I had to take the bike bottles with the wrong hand.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes. And after I was in New Zealand, I traveled one time to Australia. On the airport, I took a rental car, and on the first bend intersection, I was staying on the right side. I was standing on the wrong side.
Yeah.
Because I was I didn't thought I'm still in a land which is traveling on the wrong direction. So I was nearly in a
Look, if it's any consolation, I did the same, but the opposite, coming out of Nice once in a rental car. Yeah.
Yeah. They knew I'm a German, maybe.
Stefan, thank you ever so much for joining us on the Old School Tri Show. It's fantastic that you have given your time. You've contributed so much to Ironman New Zealand, 6 times, and all those podiums, top 5 finishes, and you're hugely appreciated by everyone here in New Zealand, a huge name in the sport here in New Zealand. And we're just incredibly grateful to have had you on the Old School Tri Show. Thank you ever so much.
Thank you very much. Thanks.